Never have I reviewed a movie with such fuzzy details surrounding its creation. The film may or may not have been made for $200 million, and the film, well, probably wasn't, but according to some internet conspiracy theorists, with tinfoil hats and everything, this film may have been written by Taylor Swift. What a crazy world we live in. Am I right? Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Argylle, directed by Matthew Vaughn and starring Bryce Dallas Howard, Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa, Catherine O'Hara, and Bryan Cranston. So, the film follows Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard. Ellie is she's a homebody author who's written the famous Argylle series, following the spy adventure exploits of, Argylle, played by Henry Cavill, Wyatt, played by John Cena, and Femme Fatale Lagrange, played by Dua Lipa. Finding herself stuck with a nasty case of writer's block and unable to write, quote, the next chapter, she decides to visit her mom and, find out how to bang out a few new chapters in her book. While en route to Chicago, she encounters real life secret agent, mind you, Aiden, played by Sam Rockwell. And she informs her that she is wanted by the division. That is to say, the same division that she wrote about in her books. And because of this, she is being hunted down by the division for her seemingly preternatural abilities to predict the future. And so, being thrust into a world of cloak and dagger, Ellie soon has to reevaluate who she is and who she can trust, while also fending off the attacks of evil secret agent director Ritter, played by Bryan Cranston. So the actors are clearly having a fun time with the material, and they very evidently understood their assignments. Bryce Dallas Howard she's fun as Ellie, and even manages to pull a fast one on the audience at certain points in the movie. I won't spoil when, but it's done very well. Sam Rockwell brings a deadpan charm to his role as Aiden, the agent, who likes to do quips, but he's kind of annoyed with the whole we're doing this routine thing. It's pretty fun and kind of plays into the film's parody of spy movies, while also using the tropes of said spy movies, but in a fun, creative manner. Bryan Cranston is fun, hamming it up as an evil spy director. Like, the film doesn't even try to hide it. Like, the first opening scene, the film's like, yeah, this guy's evil. But, again, it's fun watching him be evil. Plus, actors Henry Cavill and John Cena, they are clearly having a blast playing, over-the-top parodies of spy agents in movies, like most notably Henry Cavill, and what must be is a pretty meta cast, because long ago he was originally considered to be James Bond in the Casino Royale movie, but he lost out on the role due to being too young at the age of 22. Plus Dua Lipa, I should note that, despite the fact that she's given quite, a lot of screen time and all the marketing for the movie, she's not in it for long. At least in terms of meaningful acting. Again, that's not to say that the performance she gives is bad. It's just, you should know, she doesn't have much screen time in it. But what she does have, she does pretty well. So the film's writing is a bit uneven, particularly in the beginning and near the end. In the beginning, the film, Ellie and Aiden, they've teamed up, and Aiden's like, yo, you gotta use your ultra writing skills to figure out what's going on here. And it's not terrible. It's just, I don't know, very lightweight, and it wasn't very interesting. It wasn't until deep into the, not quite deep, it wasn't until the second act, about 10 minutes into the second act, that the full creativity really takes off. There's a big plot twist where it's like, okay, my interest is piqued now. And then in the third act, the pacing sort of drops off a little bit due to the action scenes, but more on that later. Thankfully, when the writing does work, it really works. The film has fun lampooning spy tropes while also using said spy tropes, but in a fun and creative and occasionally unpredictable manner. Like, there are some plots where I'm like, for example, there's a misunderstanding between Ellie and Aiden, and I was like, really? So, this is what you're going with here, huh? Okay, you do you, movie. But again, like I said, for the most part, the use of the tropes works and feels creative. Plus the spy novelist gimmick, as I mentioned earlier, with Ellie trying to, write the next chapter and predict what will happen next, it is well integrated into the movie. And the film's dialogue shows that Matthew Vaughn knows how to make PG-13 dialogue work, without having to toss in a bajillion F-bombs. Although it does maybe hamper the action scenes. Again, more on that in a moment. So visually speaking, Argylle bears most of the hallmarks of a Matthew Vaughn action movie. It features stylistic gun-fu action sequences alongside hilariously improbable action set pieces that are multicolored and seem almost out of a cartoon, but in a good way, sort of. Again, I'm getting there. And save for one fun but otherwise time padding action sequence near the end, the action scenes never interrupt the pacing. However, there are two things that contribute to me using the most qualifier to describe the action. One, the lack of blood, and two, the quality of the VFX themselves. So every Matthew Vaughn directed film I've watched has been gleefully R-rated and filled to the brim with blood. Like, not quite Quentin Tarantino levels of blood, but still, there's quite a lot of blood squibs to be had in a Matthew Vaughn directed movie, or at least most of them, because this film is PG-13, and because of that, whenever people get shot, and a lot of people do, there is no blood. And it just feels weird because you can see the holes in their clothes where bullets have gone through, and yet there's not a single drop of blood. There's like maybe one or two moments where there's blood, and it just feels odd. I don't know. Maybe, if this was my first Matthew Vaughn movie, I wouldn't feel like this, but I have seen a lot of them, and so it just feels odd. I think the best way to describe it, it's like watching, Wolverine movies, pre-Logan, because Logan is hard R-rated, and, in that movie, like, it's a bloodbath of Wolverine just tearing up the baddies with his adamantium claws. And watching that movie makes watching all the other X-Men movies that are PG-13. And every time, I watch those movies, I'm thinking, there should be a lot of blood coming out. That's what it felt like watching this movie. Plus, the second issue is the VFX themselves. To say that Matthew Vaughn movies have unpolished VFX is a bit of an understatement, but it's, some would argue it's a style, but I feel like even this movie pushes the limits of that adjective. I can't confirm whether the VFX are iffy due to a lack of budget management, or a lack of creativity, because as I mentioned in the opening intro of this review, the amount of money it took to actually make this movie is a little bit of a mystery, because according to Wikipedia at the time I'm recording this review, the budget for Argylle is $200 million. And yet there are reports that this number comes less from the amount of money it took to make this thing than it is a reflection of how much Apple paid for the distribution rights, which are two very different things. There are some reports going around that this film cost more around $70 to $80 million, but again, those reports are unconfirmed. So I'm kind of left in this awkward spot of, okay, are the effects bad? Did they blow the money on, other stuff and forget to save it for the digital VFX team? Or did they just have to stretch their budget as far as they could with what relatively limited resources they had. So, though not all of its plot twists land in this overlong spy flick, Argylle still features plenty of energetic action and fun performances to compensate. So with all that in mind, I will be giving Argylle 3.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you liked this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what is your favorite Matthew Vaughn movie and why?